slammed against the staircase edge, and the next thing I felt was cold, wooden floor beneath my cheek. "Call someone!" I heard someone shout. But it wasn't concern, it was annoyance. I blinked slowly, pain crawling up my back, as I tried to lift my head. My brother Ryan stood above me, arms folded, shaking his head like I had done something wrong. "She pushed herself," he said flatly, his voice hollow of any real concern. "Again?" my dad muttered, walking toward the commotion. "She's always so dramatic. Before we begin, drop a comment and tell us where are you from, and from which city you're watching our videos. And after watching the whole video, don't forget to tell us what would you do in this situation. Be honest. Tell me in the comments below. We read every comment. Let's begin." I opened my mouth to speak, but my breath caught in my throat. It wasn't just the fall. It was their reaction, their coldness. My arm trembled as I tried to sit up. The world spun sideways, but no one helped me. No one even moved, except my stepmother, Vanessa, who stood near the hallway, smirking just slightly as she took a sip of wine. "You should be more careful on the stairs," she said coolly. "They're slippery when you're not watching your step." That smug tone, that knowing smile. I wasn't clumsy. I didn't trip. I had been pushed, not hard. Just a slight nudge, subtle, but enough to send me down tumbling from the third step after an argument with Ryan about my late mom's bracelet. I wasn't supposed to wear it today. It wasn't mine to wear, Ryan had said, but it was. Mom gave it to me before she died. I hadn't taken it off in 2 years. I saw his hand twitch toward me. The memory was hazy but clear enough. I remembered the pressure. I remembered the look in his eyes. And now he was blaming me. "I told you to stop exaggerating things, Mia," Dad snapped as he crouched in front of me. "You're not 5. Stop making scenes." My chest tightened. A dull ache spread through my ribs as I tried again to sit upright. Ryan was still standing by the staircase banister, casual, relaxed, like a man who knew the room would always believe him. Except one person. The door burst open, and I swear the entire room went quiet. My husband, Eli, stepped in, his jaw locked, brows furrowed. His dark coat still had raindrops clinging to the sleeves. He didn't speak right away. He just walked, slow, deliberate steps, straight to me. "Don't touch her," my dad barked. Eli didn't even look at him. He kneeled beside me, his hand gently touching my shoulder. "You okay?" I nodded weakly. "I didn't fall," I whispered. "I know." And then he stood up, reached into his pocket, pulled out a small flash drive and held it up. The room stilled. Ryan's smirk faltered. "I was going to let it go," Eli said quietly. "But then I saw this. And you know what? Everyone here deserves to watch it. Together." "Watch what?" Ryan scoffed, but his voice cracked slightly. Vanessa's wine glass trembled. My dad narrowed his eyes. "You recorded something?" "No," Eli said, walking toward the flat screen in the living room. "Your own front porch camera did." He plugged the flash drive in. The TV flickered. And then, there it was, me, standing at the top of the stairs, arguing with Ryan. The sound was off, but the image was clear. Ryan stepped forward. His hand shoved my shoulder. Clear as day. A deliberate push. The room stayed frozen. You could have heard a pin drop. Then my dad stepped back, visibly shaken. That's not what it looks like," Ryan muttered. Eli turned to him slowly. "Then what is it? Special effects?" Ryan opened his mouth, closed it, and then Vanessa, for the first time, stepped away from the wall. "That video proves nothing," Eli glared at her. "You want to see the hallway cam too? I downloaded every angle, all of them, including the one where you were watching and didn't lift a finger. You're overreacting," she hissed. "No," Eli said, stepping in front of them. "You all are just used to gaslighting Mia until she questions her own pain. Not this time. Not with me here." His voice cracked, but with rage. "Every time she stands up for herself, you all call her dramatic," he added, now pacing. "Every time she tries to breathe in this family, someone tightens the noose. But not anymore." "Mia has always wanted attention," Ryan snapped. "She's just good at playing the victim." "Tell that to the cameras." No one said a word, not even Dad, not even Vanessa. And I realized, as I watched them unravel in silence, that this wasn't just about the fall. This was about years of letting them silence me. Eli took my hand, looked me in the eyes, and said, "You don't have to stay here tonight." I nodded, and then he helped me to my feet, slowly, tenderly. But before we could reach the door, Eli turned back. "Oh, and just so you know," he said, "Mia filed for a restraining order this morning." That wasn't true. I hadn't. But as Ryan's face twisted in fear and Vanessa's mouth dropped open, I wished I had, and maybe, just maybe, I would. The silence behind us was suffocating as Eli led me out of the house. Rain fell in a fine mist now, soft enough to blur the streetlights, but cold enough to sting where my shoulder had bruised. Eli didn't say anything until we were in the car, parked at the curb with the engine idling. He turned the heat up, reached over, and gently fastened my seatbelt. I stared out the window, swallowing the knot in my throat. "They'll twist it, say I provoked him, that I tripped." Eli looked at me, his voice low. "Let them talk. That footage shuts them all up." My voice cracked. "It doesn't change the years before today." He didn't respond right away. Instead, he reached into the glove box and pulled out a small bottle of arnica cream. "Let's take care of this first." My husband, Eli Thomas, 28, quiet, fiercely protective, had never raised his voice unless he had to. But what made him powerful was his presence. When he stood up for me, people listened, and tonight he'd looked like a man who had been holding back for a long time. I winced as he gently applied the cream to my upper back and shoulder. "I didn't even hit the bottom step," I whispered, "just folded hard on the third." "You could have broken your spine, Mia." "I know. Do you?" His voice cracked now. "Because you walked right back into that house this morning, like they hadn't humiliated you last weekend." I didn't want to start another war. "Mia, this is already a war. You've just been playing defense your whole life." I stayed silent. Then he added, "I didn't marry a victim. I married a fighter who forgot how much power she has." That sentence settled into me like warmth, pushing through the numbness. We drove in silence, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel ashamed of leaving that house. The next morning, I woke up with aches blooming across my back and thighs, but it wasn't the pain that startled me. It was the way Eli was sitting on the edge of the bed, eyes locked on his phone. "What is it?" I asked, my voice rough. He slowly turned to me. "Your brother posted a photo last night. Captioned it, 'Some people will fall just to stay relevant.'" My heart thudded. My palms went cold. "That's not even just a lie. It's evil," I muttered. Eli held out the phone. "I already replied." I hesitated before reading it. "You mean the same fall caught on your dad's Nest Cam?" "Don't worry, Ryan. I've got 3 more angles. The truth isn't scared of a post. But maybe you should be." It had over 9,000 likes. The comments? Even worse for Ryan. I sat up slowly. People are seeing it. People are furious, and guess what? Vanessa just made her account private. I blinked, a bitter laugh slipping out. "Your silence protected them," Eli said. "Now your voice is starting to protect you." By noon, Dad had called. I didn't answer. Then came a voicemail. "Mia, it's your father. Don't let Eli blow this out of proportion. Your family. We can't have our dirty laundry all over the internet." I tossed the phone onto the couch. "Dirty laundry," I muttered. "That's how he sees me, like I'm just a mess to hide." Eli sat beside me. "Your father's afraid, not sorry. That's a key difference." My eyes burned with tears I didn't want to shed. "Why do they treat me like I'm nothing?" I asked, voice cracking. "Like I'm always wrong, always too emotional, too soft, too much." "Because you see through them," he cut in. "And they don't like mirrors." I pressed my hands to my face. "I can't keep going back to that house, Eli. It's like walking into a place that kills me in pieces." "Then don't." He stood and picked up his laptop from the dining table. "You ready to fight back?" I lifted my head. "What do you mean?" He sat down again, opened his inbox, and clicked into a folder labeled incident footage. Then another folder, medical records, then another, threatening texts. I stared, stunned. "You've been documenting everything? Every bruise they called an accident, every time they blamed you for Ryan's temper, every time your dad dismissed you." My voice shook. "Why?" "Because I knew one day you'd be ready to walk away, and when that day came, I wanted you to have proof." Tears spilled from my eyes. He reached out, holding my hand with both of his. "Mia, this isn't just about a fall. It's about every push they gave you in words and silence. You think you're weak? But I've seen you hold storms in your chest and still smile. That's not weakness. That's power. I broke down into his arms. And in that moment, I realized something. I wasn't broken. I was rising. 2 days passed. Ryan's post was still getting dragged across social media, and Eli had already sent an email to our lawyer with the video and a summary of everything that had happened. We didn't post anything else. We didn't need to. The truth was louder than any status update. I sat at the kitchen island, sipping tea, still sore but finally breathing without panic. Eli stepped in from the hallway, phone in hand, expression unreadable. "You okay?" I asked. He nodded slowly. "That was Marlene?" My stomach tensed. "Dad's assistant?" "She said your father wants to meet. Just you." I laughed under my breath. He's never wanted just me unless he needed someone to blame. "He says it's important. Said it's about the house." I stared down at the mug. They're trying to pull me back in, guilt me, gaslight me all over again. "I know." Eli paused. "But maybe it's time you stop letting them speak at you and start speaking to them from your terms." I met his eyes. "You think I should go?" "I think it's your choice, but I'll be parked outside the whole time." Later that afternoon, I stood outside my dad's office. Same cold gray door, same gold lettering. Robert Saunders, investment consultant. I knocked. He opened the door, clearly not expecting me to look this steady. His face was tight. "You look better." "I am." We sat across from each other, silence stretching. He broke it first. "I watched the footage." "Good. I didn't know." "You did." He flinched. "You knew the kind of person Ryan was, and you always looked the other way," I continued, voice calm but sharp. "You called me dramatic while letting him chip away at me. Every time." "I didn't think it would go that far," he muttered. "Yeah?" Until it was caught on camera. He looked ashamed for once, maybe because the world had finally seen who he really was as a father. "I brought you here," he said, clearing his throat, "because I'm putting the lake house in your name." I blinked. "Why?" "You stayed with your mother when she was sick. Ryan didn't. You were the only one who cared." I didn't speak. And after what happened, I realized maybe I failed you more than I thought. I stared at him. It didn't feel like closure, but maybe it was something. "I'm not looking for a house," I said quietly. "I'm looking for peace. You can't buy that back." He looked down. I stood. "Tell Ryan to keep my name out of his mouth, and tell Vanessa the next time she smirks, I'll be watching." And then I walked out, head high, spine straight, pain still in my body but no longer in my soul. Eli was waiting outside, leaning on the car. When I opened the door, he didn't ask what was said. He just looked at me and smiled. "You look different." "I feel different." And for once, I meant it. The next morning, I woke up to 3 missed calls from Vanessa. No voicemail, no text. Just her name on my screen like a stain that wouldn't fade. I didn't call back. Instead, I stared at the mirror while brushing my hair, noticing the bruise on my shoulder finally turning yellow at the edges. Healing, fading, but not forgotten. Eli knocked softly on the bathroom door. "You might want to see this." I followed him to the living room where his laptop sat open. On screen, a private message sent to him from Ryan. "Eli, you made your point. Can you just take the post down? It's affecting my job now." I read the words twice. Then again, he wasn't sorry. He was scared. "Are you going to reply?" I asked. Eli shrugged. "I was thinking of letting you decide." I smiled faintly. "Tell him this. Actions have consequences. I didn't start this, but I'll finish it if I have to." He grinned, spoken like a woman who finally found her fire. By afternoon, the doorbell rang. I froze. Eli was in the backyard with our dog, so I opened it myself. Vanessa stood there, sunglasses on, hair slicked back in a bun so tight it looked painful. She held a gift bag in one hand. My stomach twisted. "What do you want?" I asked flatly. She didn't bother with pleasantries. "We need to make this go away. Quietly. My reputation is—" I cut her off. "Your reputation?" "Vanessa, I was pushed down the stairs and left lying on the floor like a broken doll while you sipped your wine." Her jaw tightened. "I brought you something," she said, forcing the gift bag into my hand. I looked inside. It was my mother's necklace. The one that had mysteriously vanished last year from my old room. The one Vanessa insisted she never saw. "You stole this," I whispered. "I kept it safe. she said coolly. No, you kept it. Silence. I'm not scared of you anymore, I said, stepping back. I used to be. I used to think I needed you, that if I played nice, you'd stop cutting into me with that fake smile and petty insults. But now, I see you. Vanessa blinked behind her glasses. I handed the necklace back. Give it to Ryan. He lies better with props. Then I closed the door. Gently, not slamming it, not yelling. Just done. That evening, Eli and I went to the lake house, the one Dad promised. It was still in his name, but the papers were being transferred. I stood on the back deck, overlooking the still water, feeling the breeze touch my face. Eli joined me, wrapping a blanket around my shoulders. You really told her off? He asked. I did. You want to keep the necklace? No, I said. I want to keep myself. That's all I need. He pulled me in close, and for the first time in years, I felt like I wasn't surviving my past. I was finally walking away from it. 2 weeks later, I got a letter. Official, legal, stamped and signed. The lake house was now mine, fully. No strings, no hidden clause. I sat with the envelope in my hands for a while, staring at my name on the deed. My name, not tied to my father's, not buried under Ryan's shadow, just mine. Eli walked in, drying his hands on a towel. It's real now, huh? Yeah, I whispered. It's real. We decided to host a small gathering. Not a party, just a few people who had stood by me. My coworker Sarah, her husband, and an old neighbor from childhood who used to help my mom when she got sick. People who mattered. People who knew who I was without needing proof or video evidence. Ryan wasn't invited. Neither was Vanessa, and when my dad texted asking if he could drop by, I sent a short reply. Today's about peace, not politics. He didn't respond. I didn't care. That night, the fire pit crackled while Sarah passed me a drink. You're glowing, she said with a grin. You look like someone who finally stepped out of the storm. I smiled. Because I did. Eli joined us, holding 2 more plates of food. Can we toast? Sarah raised her glass. To what? Eli looked at me and said it simply. To choosing yourself. And that was it. That was everything. Later, after everyone left and we were cleaning up the patio, I found something on my phone. A message request. From Ryan. I almost deleted it, but curiosity got the better of me. You win. Is that what you wanted? I stared at it, then typed one line. No, I wanted peace. You gave me war, and I survived anyway. I hit send, blocked him, then turned off my phone and walked outside barefoot onto the cool grass. The wind whispered through the trees. The lake shimmered under the moonlight, and Eli came up behind me, arms wrapping around